Good morning and welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical from a Frontier. I hope the year's gone well. We've had a few days of it. I certainly have, but it's been so quiet on these Nairobi streets. It's been an absolute joy to get around. But I suspect from next week it's all change. Sub-Saharan Africa, Congo. One candidate clearly won the Congo elections as the Catholic Church, which is very powerful in the Congo. I know I visited there as well. DRC, Congo's Catholic Bishops' Conference, SENCO, said on Thursday that results from Sunday's presidential election in its possession show that one candidate has clearly won, but did not say which one. The SENCO's Central Secretary General in a press conference also called on the National Electoral Commission to publish accurate results. The Commission says it will publish complete provisional results on Sunday at the earliest. More than a third of polling stations in the December 30 election were missing voting materials when polls opened, according to a SENCO report. Jason Stearns is saying a standoff is in the making. The Catholic Church has enough results tallied that it knows who has won the election. It will wait for Seni to announce the results. It is illegal to do otherwise, but it has briefed diplomats. Clearly it's not Shadari that the briefing. The United States has called upon the Democratic Republic of the Congo's Electoral Commission to release accurate results. Those who undermine the democratic process, they say, threaten the peace, security and stability of the DRC. All benefit from corruption may find themselves not welcome in the United States and cut off from the US financial system. It's a tough one. I can't believe Shadari's won that election. I think he's lost it. But ultimately, I think Kabila's going to somehow win this, like they do often in many parts of Africa. Very hard. Africa, even if you win, you lose, as it were. Zimbabwe government warns businesses against dollarizing the economy. It's inevitable, I'm afraid. This is after Delta Corporation said on Wednesday that its beverages subsidiary will accept hard currency from January the 4th and not accept anything else. Delta, 40% owned by Anheuser-Busch, will no longer accept electronic dollars known as Zollars, which are valueless, worth zero, or a quasi-currency known as bond notes, zero as well, at its Delta Beverages subsidiary. Ex-Credit Suisse bankers charged over $2 billion Mozambique loan scandal. This is a serious development. Charges stem from a 2013 deal for Mozambique, one of the world's poorest countries, to borrow from international investors, ostensibly to fund maritime projects, including a state tuna fishery ahead of investments in offshore gas. Manuel Chang, who I met in 2014 actually, I attended an IMF conference called Africa Rising in Maputo. Chang, who was Mozambique's finance minister at the time of the loan deals, was also arrested in South Africa on Saturday in connection with the indictment. Chang and the bankers created the maritime projects as fronts to enrich themselves and intentionally diverted portions of the loan proceeds to fund $200 million of bribes and kickbacks, according to the indictment. Auditors later found that $500 million of the money raised by the loans could not be accounted for, and that the companies behind the debt paid over the odds for equipment. Analysts say that Mr. Chang's arrest in particular will increase tensions within Frelimo, who is close to GUEBEZA, whom I met in Doha once, Mr. Nyusi's predecessor as president. He is obviously the puppeteer. Prosecutors also charged John Bustani, an executive of Priv Invest, an Abu Dhabi-based group that supplied boats and gear to the projects. He was arrested in New York and ordered to detain. And two of the Credit Suisse employees left Credit Suisse to work for Priv Invest in 2013. Bloomberg is also reporting on the same, and this was an interesting detail. Chang was arrested at Oliver Tambo International Airport in Johannesburg while en route to Dubai. South African authorities had told him to clear immigration when his plane landed from Maputo, Krause has said. This isn't normal procedure when passengers are in transit. And Chang was arrested after going through immigration. The circumstances of his arrest are concerning, if not alarming, Krauser said. Officials secured his entry into South Africa by way of deception. The US will probably use these initial charges as leverage over Chang, thereby coercing him to cooperate with international investigations. This process is likely to answer key questions that were never adequately addressed by the independent audit of the scandal. And Piers Pijou was referencing this, and I said, where is GUEBEZA? Because Manuel is about to go full-on canary, I would have thought. Edward Cropley will be fascinating if the DOJ get their mitts on Chang, a few sweaty palms of Credit Suisse perhaps. I was referencing that conference in Maputo in 2014, Africa Rising. This is the poster from it. This is a photograph of Maputo from the sea. Madagascar faced a third day of protests over the election result. South African all-share down 2.02% this year. Dollar versus rand recovering from a multi-month low at 14.29 last. Egyptian pound 17.90. This is Edward Batinsky, a sawmill in Lagos, Nigeria. Powerful photograph, isn't it? Nigerian all-share down 2.1%. We have an election coming there. Ghana Stock Exchange up 0.1%. Mr. Prince, this is Eric Prince, the brother of Betsy DeVos, the fellow who's meeting all sorts in the Seychelles, aims to raise up to $500 million to invest in the supply of metals such as copper, cobalt, and lithium that are needed for batteries. For all the talk of our virtual world, the innovation, you can't build those vehicles without minerals that come from generally weird, hard-to-access places, he told the Financial Times. Over 60% of the world's cobalt supply comes from the DRC. Prince runs Frontier Services Group. When I see the R&D budgets of all the major automakers plowing huge money into hybrid or electric vehicles, I believe the demand curve for the unique minerals that make up an electric car and battery technology will be enormously high, he said, over the coming years. Let's move on to Kenya. Treasury data published in the Kenya Gazette indicates tax receipts rose by 9.2% to 555.6 billion in 5 months to November 2018. That's interesting. Congratulations, Carl McCarter, on your confirmation by the US Senate as the next US ambassador to Kenya. That's Bob Godek. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve here for 6 years. Laurie and I will forever cherish our friendships and memories of this beautiful country and its extraordinary people. Have a listen to Bob Godek's Mind Speak session. He really was. He gets abused a lot on social media, but I think it's rather unfair. I said this to Media Max, I'm not in the perennial bear shilling camp which comes up with a 15 to 20% devaluation prediction every year. Remittances, I said, have skyrocketed. Crude oil prices have nosedived, both of which are currently supporting the shilling. However, there are some issues around the debt, and I said if all those factors come to pass, they will definitely affect the shilling. And at 6th of November last year, I wrote about the shilling, and I said the central bank is sitting on the highest hard currency reserves in its history. Remittances have surged by 71.9% year on year. That was through June, saying that the most important source of forex, bar none, our single biggest expense item is of course crude oil. You will have noted that since the Istanbul incident, the Crown Prince has been finessing the price lower. Maybe not now, maybe he's trying to buy his position back, because I think he sold a bunch of futures. And then if you look at this chart from Charlie Bilello, he's saying with the exception of the Japanese yen, the dollar was higher against all major foreign currencies in 2018. The Kenya shilling appreciated on a 1.357% last year. Take the carry, which is at least 8.5%. And it is clear that shilling was one of the best currencies to hold worldwide. Maybe Egypt was better. I'll have to go and check that. But this is quite an outcome. I was at lunch yesterday with the Deputy Governor of the Central Bank, and I was mentioning this point actually. Kenya shilling 102.20, Nairobi all share down 0.51%, NSE 20 down 0.84%, and not looking that great at the stock exchange, I must admit. I wish you a great weekend, and I'm very grateful that